All right. Okay. This is the last panel of the day. This is our what we call the NFL seminar, which will just kind of talk football IQ, football development. But first off, I want each one of these individuals to introduce themselves, and I want you all to be really detailed on who you are and what it is that you do.
We'll come left to right. Yeah, we'll go right. Yeah, you go first.
So I go first?
Go ahead, Cecil. Here you go, Coach.
Good afternoon. I'm Clifford Fedd, running backs coach here at Prairie A&M University. I'm going into my 25th year coaching football, going into my second year coaching collegiate football. I've sent a lot of young men to college at a high level. I also currently, I coach a young man that's going into his fourth year in the league. He's on right now, he's blowing up. He got a lot of good information going out about him. Coach Will Anderson, defensive end, outside edge backer for the Houston Texans.
Excuse my voice. Good afternoon. My name is Darryl Colbert. I am the assistant head coach, wide receivers coach. Man, I've been around this football thing a long time. I did have the opportunity to play in the NFL for 3 years, as well as played over in Canada. I've been head coach on the high school level at Westbury High School, as well as Beaumont United. I do have some kids that I coached at Beaumont United. Great to see them. But this is my second year at Prairie View.
Cecil Shorts the third, head coach, first time head coach of high school, which was exciting. Houston Christian High School, got some guys here up there. Former NFL player, better half of a decade, 3 different teams. Also do a lot of media stuff with the Houston Texans, sports radio, or kind of the in-game MC. So I'm excited to hear other guys in the panel with a lot of experience.
So Cecil, since you have the microphone, you basically take us through your journey. You went to a D3 school, right? And give us your pathway into the NFL and what that looked like.
Well, coming out of high school, I was a quarterback. I was a quarterback my whole life. And just being honest, I was kind of just undersized. I think when you look at everybody's dreams and aspirations as a kid, mine were probably, if I'm being honest, let's talk about being transparent here, it's like unrealistic. I was 5'11", 5'10", 155 somewhere, and thinking I was the next Michael Vick. And that wasn't the case. So I didn't get no opportunities for Division I. I got maybe 1 or 2 opportunities at a very low-end Division II. Division III was the opportunity for me. Now, I went to the University of Mount Union as a quarterback. If you don't know about Mount Union, I'm from Ohio, so Mount Union is in Ohio. And they are the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Ohio States, the Michigans of Division III. So they're the best of the best. So when I went there, I got hurt my freshman year, a red shirt. I ended up running track that winter of my freshman year. And they're like, hey, we want you to switch positions. And I'm like, no, I'm the next Michael Vick in my head, right? I'm the next guy that's going. And they're like, you can sit the bench for 3 years and wait your turn to compete to play quarterback, or you can find your way on the field as a redshirt freshman as a backup receiver. So I'm like, all right, I guess I got no choice. So I was the 6th receiver with 5 seniors in front of me going into my redshirt freshman year. And one of the seniors happened to be a guy named Pierre Garçon. Pierre Garçon played in the NFL for 12 years. He was drafted after my redshirt freshman season in the 6th round by the Indianapolis Colts. So when that happened, I'm like, whoa, wait a second. You can get drafted, come out of Division III school. Now think about Division III, there's no scholarships. So in the summertime, I was mowing grass, I was working on roofs, I was working at Subway. After I would do that, I would go to workout with my boys, and then go to sleep and do the same thing the next day. Paying my way through school, taking out loans, figuring out as I go along, right? Pierre's second year in the NFL, he goes to the Super Bowl, playing with Peyton Manning, playing with Marvin Harrison, playing with Reggie Wayne, Anthony Gonzalez. He's having like 800-yard season. All the attention's on him. Like he's the next up because he's the younger out of the older group they had. So now NFL, as you guys know, is a copycat league. So they're like, hey, where did they find this guy from? And I happen to be doing really good where I was at. So long story short, my dad told me like, hey, if you want to get looked at from a small school, you can't just be good. You can't just be a all-conference, the #1 receiver on the team. You got to prove you don't belong. You got to prove that you're that guy every single Saturday, because there's a guy at University of Texas, 7th receiver on the depth chart, and that barely plays. He'll get looked at before you will by the NFL because he's at UT and you at Mount Union. So for me, my mindset was, all right, these scouts start coming around, agents start calling, parents, with MySpace and that's like the stuff back then. But when that started happening, I'm like, hey, this could be a real thing. So long story short, humbly, I was doing really well in the field, and I got drafted 4th round, which at that time was one of the highest ever for a Division II player.
Y'all give him a round of applause for that. So there's a lot of special stories up here, and Coach Colbert, I'm gonna give you the same question. You coming from our hometown of Big Money, Texas, right? But Coach Colbert's journey is pretty similar. Coach Colbert, can you just dive into that just a little bit more before we continue?
Yeah, a little bit similar. Cecil and I look, I thought I was listening to myself when I said 5'11", about 155 pounds. So, I wasn't recruited. I wasn't highly recruited out of high school. I think what helped me was my senior year, we ended up winning the state championship. And I ended up, I didn't even take a walk. I didn't even it wasn't even a visit. Went to the other school on the other side of town, went to Texas Southern. Ended up taking an unofficial visit there. And I knew I could play. I believed I could play. The one thing that I had, that I still had, and I tell you guys, is a work ethic. My mom always told me, 2 things, if you take these 2 things, you'll be successful. Trust God and work hard. And I believe that. And to this day, that's really what I believe, and I think that's what got me to it. I had some great coaches as well. The coaches, the reason why I'm a coach is because of my coaches, because I want to give back what they gave to me. I went back to Beaumont probably about 3 years ago and took that job. And I took that job for that simple reason. Enjoyed coaching those guys, but going to Texas Southern, they wasn't recruiting, they wasn't taking guys. Guys wasn't getting drafted back then. But just as Cecil said, every day I was out there getting it. Every day I was out there grinding. No one was gonna tell me that I couldn't make it. So it doesn't matter, guys, I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter how small you are, how big you are. It's a work ethic, man. I told my son was a decent player. And I used to tell him all the time, he was a 5'11" quarterback. And he could have went to probably any school in America, but he believed in himself, said, Dad, I'm not gonna play anything else. Well, I said to this, son, if you believe in yourself and you believe you can do it, it will happen for you. So I'll tell you guys, man, I believe I got to the NFL because of a praying mom and hard work. And I'm gonna tell you, if that's your dream, I ask my kids every day in my room, what's your dream? They tell me NFL. Well, if that's your dream, I'm gonna hold you accountable to that. Your grades should be good. When I look at Catapult and look at how much film you've watched, it should be hours. So man, me getting to, I was a free agent. I didn't get drafted. I went to the Kansas City Chiefs, man. It was 16 receivers, 3 guys were already solidified. So really, it was 14 spots. And I was an undrafted free agent. They drafted a guy in the 6th round, drafted a guy back then, it was 12 rounds. So really, they were just bringing me in to be some legs. But I had a work ethic, man. I still go back to that work ethic. And I believe that's the reason I made the team, man. But just fast forward now, me being a coach, and You guys talking about recruiting, don't let anybody, guys, tell you what you can't do, man. If you're willing to put in the work, great things will happen for you. As one of the young men, Pedro, said earlier, it may not happen the way you want it to happen. But if it's a goal of yours, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, man. Because you've already failed if you believe that. So everybody has those aspirations to make it to the NFL. You may have to take the Canadian football route to get to the NFL. You may have to go to the UFL. You may have to go to a D2 school, D3 school. Understand this, with social media and technology now, man, if you can play football, the NFL's gonna find you. So I say to you guys, man, hold on to your dreams, whatever they are. And don't ever let anybody tell you what you cannot do, and great things will happen for you.
Yeah. How many of you all, your dreams and aspirations are to be in the NFL? Okay. I listen to Coach Colbert pretty much all the time, and he's telling you the God honest truth about how he holds his guys accountable. And playing professional football is on the highest of levels, correct? And in order to get there, I think there is just a way you have to be. So Coach Fed has coached good players, and he's coached great players. Coach Fed, can you define the difference between the two and what that looks like?
A great player is going to do everything it takes to be great. Great starts with you. It starts with your mindset. It starts how you wake up in the morning, how you take care of your day, how you go about your day. All right, whatever it is you want to do, that's what you're going to spend your time doing. If you're great at something, you're great at it because you've given it some time. Good players just like to look good, think they're good, but don't put in great work. It's two totally different mindsets. All right, so when you wake up and your feet hit the floor, you have a strong desire. You have a desire to be better. You have a desire to be great. You have a desire to make mountains move with your hands behind your back. It's a choice. Two things you'll get to do most in life: breathe and make choices. If you're breathing, you're making choices. If you're not breathing, you're making no choices anyway. But just understand, make good choices. So when you choose to be great, when you're doing great things and things are going your way, it's based off of decisions that you're making. But when you choose to play football and you want to play at the highest level, you got to do it the highest level people are doing. All right, they're waking up, they're taking care of their bodies, they're going to bed at night, they're not up on social media 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and think your body's going to perform. That's not going to happen. You have got to rest your mind, you have to rest your muscles, you got to give your body the necessary rest that it needs in order to perform at a high level the next day. So therefore, good people, good players, they're just going about the day. They're just good because they're talented. All right, so it's a saying that hard works beat talent when talent doesn't work hard. Well, great players take care of everything. You're talented, you're taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of. Also, taking care of your mind and your thoughts, all right? It's extremely difficult for you to come play football at this level. I'm gonna tell you right now, to play football here, it takes a different kind of mindset. In high school, you might have 5, 6, 7 pass protections. Me as the running back coach, I'm telling you, we double digits in the protection. But we only given up 1 sack all of last year. We gave up 1 sack all of last year, played 14 games. Over 1,000 snaps, we gave up 1 sack. All right, so therefore, you gotta be into studying the game of football. You can't just go out and go hang out and think you're gonna get it. It's not gonna happen for you. You have to give football some time. Most of y'all could text on your phone without even looking at your phone. That's how you get away with texting in school. And when you're in class and your teacher's standing at the front, you can sit there and text underneath the desk, never look at the phone. You know why you're able to do that? Because you do it all the time. So just imagine if you studied your pass protection all the time. Just imagine if you studied your playbook, your passing concepts all the time. You can be great at football as well. So it's a choice. Some people just choose wisely and some people just choose for the meantime. You got to be able to look past your toes. All right, your vision has to be what you want to be doing next August, August 2027. What you want to be doing January, spring 2027. That's where your vision got to be. But oftentimes, you can't see past your toes. That just means you living day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour. You're not doing anything in preparation for what's to come. Your behavior has to operate for what you want to be doing at the end. You have to begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. What you want to be doing in 5 years, start that mindset right now. And if you don't, you're just going to find yourself behind. Because when you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it. So prepare your mind at a high level, study the game, give the game some time, take care of your schoolwork, because here we equate a low GPA to you can't get it done on the field. Low GPA, you got a lot of MAs. Low GPA, you're making a lot of mistakes on the football field. You blowing routes. You making a lot of mistakes. Please understand, our job as collegiate coaches is based off of the players that we bring in our room, and our room operate at a high level. So you saying, he don't like me, it's personal. You're right, it's personal. This is how I eat. This is how I take care of my family. This is how I feed myself. So you are absolutely correct, it is personal. So if we bring you in, we expect you to operate at a high level.
How many of y'all have heard that before? Okay, all right. So, and you guys could pass this down because it's a high school question. What do you look for? All of y'all high school coaches, right? What are you all looking for in your players at the high school level to get them to the next phases of their careers, to get them to college?
For me, it's just self-motivation. If a parent has to tell you to take out the trash, make your bed, to me, you've already failed. If your parents have to tell you to maintain a B85 or better, you've already failed. Because understand this, man, about college football. Mom can't wake you up in the morning. Our players, we had an event last night at 1 o'clock. We had breakfast check. They had to be there for 7 this morning. And then after that, they have to go to class. Then after that, they have to go to study hall. Then after that, they have to go to position meets. Then after that, they have to go to team meet. Then after that, they have to go study. You have to be self-motivated. Because as Coach Fayette said, man, a lot of people don't understand. With this business, this is the way we feed our families. So as he said, it is personal. And if you take a kid that's not self-motivated, it's tough, man. And in our program, as Coach Jackson stated, we are an in-your-face program, meaning we're going to find out what you said you want, and we're going to hold you accountable to that. No, are you going to be mistreated? Absolutely not. But are you going to be called out when you're not doing what you're supposed to do? What you're supposed to be doing? Absolutely. So for us and for me, you have to be self-motivated. Some of the young men that are sitting up there that I coached at Beaumont United tell you, I'm just a no-nonsense guy. What you say you want, I'm going to help you get. If you don't want it and you're not doing it, we're going to move on. Because at the end of the day, the way I look at college athletics, and I tell Dr. Williams this all the time, same for everybody, and that's okay. So when we have to release a kid from their scholarship, I don't have a problem with it because it's not for everybody. And I go back to being self-motivated. The reason that most of the time that a kid is released from their scholarships is because they're either not taken care of academically or they're not committed to their craft. And it's gonna show up. We had a 3.0 GPA last year, even during the season. We can't get that done with guys that are not self-motivated. And those same guys, and it relates, and I'm gonna pass this to Cecil, it relates for me. The guys, when I get grades from Miss Moore every Monday, the guys that are doing well academically, we grade every film. Those are the guys that are doing great on the field as well. It relates to me. So I want to know how you're doing academically. I want to know that you're self-motivated and working out. You're self-motivated in what you're doing at home. Because to me, it correlates, man. It really does.
I'll be honest with you. To me, school, when you're in high school, you're in high school right now, when you're in class, that is for you. Like, it's for you as an individual to learn. Like, you as an individual, it's for you to learn. So if you can't handle business in class for you, how can I trust you on 3rd and 1?
Absolutely.
On 4th and 1, when 11 other guys on the field are depending on you. Sorry, 10 other guys. The whole team's depending on you. But you can't go to class on time. Your mom give you a list of chores, you can't even do your chores. But you expect me to trust you when 55, 60 other guys are depending on you for me every Friday night. But you can't do something for yourself. So when the coaches here say that it correlates, it does. It means something. It matters. In my program, I'm looking for hunger. I don't want entitlement. I want guys that want it. And they got to go out there and go get it. If I got to pull your hand, hey, are you going to track practice? Are you going to lift? Hey, calling you, are you going to be at the 7 a.m. lifts? Are you going to be here? Are you going to be there? I got to walk you. I don't want you. You're already in my head moving down the depth chart. Absolutely. I can't depend on you. I need guys that are dependable. I need guys that are coachable. And of course, you got to be good. That's what I'm looking for in the program. And I can't say it enough because I think, oh, y'all overlooking the school part. If you're not handling something that is for you, it's not for us. We've been to school already. It's not for the teachers. They've been to school already. They're teaching you. If you can't do that for yourself, why would we depend on you Friday and Saturday night?
Here at PV, Coach Jack always talk about you getting your degree. We don't gain anything from you getting your degree. You get your degree, that is for you. You're gonna earn every paycheck that you get with your degree. So it doesn't benefit us for you to get your degree. But coming here to Prairie View A&M University, when you sign to come here, you sign saying you're gonna do 2 things. A, you're gonna be a student. And that means taking care of everything it takes to be a student. That means you're going to class on time. I'm gonna go on and tell on Miss Moore. She got about 25 class checkers that go out to the classroom. She got a picture of your face, making sure you go to class. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now. All right, that's going to the study hall, going to every study hall, getting every study hall hour. I mean, putting in time into your grades and your academics. All right, the next thing is be a football player. That includes coming to position meetings. That includes going to weightlifting and lifting weights at a high level. We give you goals. If you don't meet those goals, then that means you're just cheating the system. If you would cheat us off the field, you would cheat us on the field too. At that point, we want to catch you cheating us off the field way before you even get a chance to cheat us on the field, because we want to put the right guy in the game at the right time. All right, so therefore, it's extremely important. So what we're looking for people that got that want to. I'm gonna tell you like y'all say it, twin. People that got that want to, because when you want to, you will. We'll rather slow you down than have to tell you to giddy up. What I mean by that, we want you to be full speed and doing everything it takes to be an academic student and a high football player. We'll rather have to say, hey man, we know you got 20 hours of study hall, you only need 5, you could back off a little bit, but if we gotta walk you over there, push you over there, then we don't want you. As Coach said, man, you gotta be self-motivated. If you're not self-motivated, then you're just hurting yourself. And then you're hurting the team as well. On top of that, speaking about Will Anderson, I never had a spring break. I never had a winter break. I was a head coach in Georgia for 8 years, did all 24 of my high school coaching years in Georgia. We get week-long breaks over there. Will Anderson was in the weight room. Hey, coach, what you got going on winter break? You ain't doing nothing. I need you in the weight room with me. So he was motivated. He wanted to. He had that want to. And then he went to Alabama, was the first player to ever start on the defense as a true freshman. It's the reason why he's having the success that he had, because it's want to. I have never coached, I've coached maybe 2 other guys that had that type of want to. He's dominant in the league because he has a strong want to. He take care of his mind, he take care of his body, and he also take care of his soul. You hear him talk about pointing to the sky and talk about how he prayed. He had praying warriors in his family. He has a whole lot of want to, and he wants to be the best. And when he's not told that he's the best, he's challenged. So you got to want to be the best version of you every single day. So just take care of your business and you'll get there. Like Coach said, don't let nobody tell you you can't. You can. If you can't or you can, when you say you can't, you won't. It's power in words, so be careful what you say to yourself. Talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. Talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. Listen to yourself, you'll say, I can't, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, my boo need me on the Snapchat, I gotta talk to her. That's listening to yourself. Talk to yourself. I gotta go to class. I gotta get this work done. I gotta go study. I gotta go put in this work. I gotta be the best version of me. So talk to yourself. Don't always listen to yourself. I think he has something.
Yeah, really quick, just want to add, like, you talk about every coach mentioned up here, like, motivation, like self-motivation, positive self-talk. As a high school coach, I can't lie to the college coaches about who you are. When they call and ask, I started this new job in January. When they're emailing and calling and texting, I gotta be honest about who you are to them. Because if I lie just to get you a scholarship, to get you in school, now they're gonna come back and they're gonna be like, who is this kid? They're gonna look at me crazy. Now I ruined a relationship. So it's important that you take care of the business that you're supposed to now. Little sacrifices now. Like Coach said, look, think about the long run. Don't think about, oh, I'm missing out, hanging out with my boys on the weekend. Get some sleep. Learn what recovery is after a game. Learn what eating correctly is after a game. Going to Whataburger after a game ain't helping you. I saw majority of the kids here raise their hand when Coach said, who wants to go to the NFL? Can I say it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, be honest.
Maybe half of y'all will in this room right now. Maybe half of y'all will get an opportunity to snip the training camp. That's what the numbers say. So how are you going to separate yourself from everybody in the country that got the same dream? Everybody in the country got the same dream. When you working out, somebody else working out. When you sleep, somebody else working out. Somebody got the same dream that you got. How are you going to separate yourself from them?
All right, this will be one of probably 2 last questions. I'm a skilled guy, right? And you get to college, and you coming out, you were that guy in high school, and now you're the low man on the depth chart. What is the best way to get onto that field from what you all have seen?
You just gotta, to me, you just gotta go to work, man, and be consistent. I remember when my son went to college, it was kind of funny to me because you gotta realize, guys, and it's a lot different for you guys now because with the transfer portal. But even when he went to school, man, I told him, he didn't believe me. I said, man, you're 18 years old. You're going in there trying to compete against some guys that are 21, 22 years old. It's different. Not saying it cannot happen. It can happen. Again, don't ever let anybody tell you what you can't do. But I tell guys, when freshmen come in, man, you gotta go to work. You gotta change your habits. You gotta find out how to be a college student athlete, especially in football, because football is a different game, man. And I just think guys need to find out how to become a student athlete. Rest, how to study, how to work out, extra work in the weight room. There's all kind of dynamics to help you, but a lot of guys don't know how. So I think it's taking the guidance that you get, and that can really help you.
I'll tell you, come in prepared. You got to show up prepared. You can't come to this level weighing 150 pounds, benching 185. That's not going to fly. You can't come in here underweight and think you're going to play as a freshman. In the running back room, if you're not at least 185, doing 225 at least 10 to 12 times, it's going to be tough. We got to block linebackers that's 6'2", 6'3", 230 pounds. You benching 185, and everybody swear they're a dog, and I'm not saying that you're not a dog. You may be a dog, but it's different kind of dogs. You got big dogs that you got to put in the gate. Got to put a chain around them, keep them controlled. And then you got some little chihuahuas, you don't need a fence. You got big fence, you got big gates, you got little gates. So therefore, you may be a dog. But in order to come here and play as a freshman, you got to show up ready. We want to know your squat numbers. We want to know your power clean numbers, your bench press numbers. Your weight got to be up to par. You can't come to college thinking you're going to play as a freshman and your weight room number's not there. Once again, it's personal because we put you in the game. A, we trusting you. And B, we're expecting you to do a job. You can never come to the sideline and say, Coach, he big, he's strong. No. At that point, we gotta do something different with you. All right, so therefore, you gotta take care of your body. You take care of your body. You gotta show up at playing weight. If you look at our roster, we ain't got many guys on our roster under 170, 180. And if you are under 170, 180, you better be able to fly. So when Coach Jack was talking earlier about critical factors, if you undersized, then you got to have high critical factors on the other side. If you're short, you're small, you better be super fast. You better have hands out of this world. If you got size, but you got short arms, you better be super strong. You better be powerful. Y'all heard Pedro talk about being undersized. I heard the young man earlier. What Pedro didn't tell you is Pedro bench press over 400 pounds. So therefore, even though he's undersized and he work on his footwork, Pedro's super strong, and he's a Brazilian power lifter. So therefore, he lives in the weight room. He's probably over there right now. We got team meetings in 11 minutes. So therefore, you gotta have something. So therefore, you can't come in and be undersized, underdeveloped, and then think you're gonna play as a freshman. So if you're a dude where you at, you gotta understand you're not gonna always be a dude at the next level. And even if you don't come to the FCS level, it's a lot of good D2 players too. It's a lot of good D3 players too. So therefore, if you wanna play as a freshman at the next level, you gotta show up ready. Ready means weight, lifting weights, and mentally prepared. Because you're gonna be told that you're not a dude. You gotta be broken down from who you are and be built up to be who we are. We don't need you to be the high school star at PV. You're the dude at your high school. You're not the dude here at PV. So we got to strip you of all of that and then build you up to be what we want you to be or what we need you to be. Everybody good on that?
I would say humble yourself. Like everybody coming into college, you were all district, MVP of the team, all state, stats here, you dominated rival game there. That might have helped you get recruited, but it's not going to help you get on the field in college. So when you come there, you are starting over. So you got to prove yourself. There's no entitlement. No, you don't deserve anything. Coach, the head coach just said, we don't need you. That hurt my feelings. I was like, jeez, I need to go work out. He said, we don't need you. So you got to come in humble. Like, I'm going to buy into what my position coaches say. I'm going to buy into the culture of the program. It took me 3 years at the Division III level to get on the field.
Wow.
It took me 3 years at the Division III level to get on the field. Freshman year, I was on JV. At D3, at the school I had, there was 150 freshmen that came in, and there was 3 JV teams. Got hurt. Second year, behind 5, I was number 6 or 7 receiver behind 5 seniors. I didn't start till my 3rd year at college. Humble yourself at whatever level you go to. They don't need you to win. They won the SWAC without y'all last year. They don't need you to win. They would like you. You can help, be a part of the program and the culture, but you gotta humble yourself. I think a lot of guys come in, I'm gonna start as a freshman. That's rare. Am I right, coach?
Very rare.
That's rare. You got to be a Will Anderson type. You just signed
Yeah.
an unreal contract today.
We had one.
Now you got to be one of one. It's rare to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being patient. You can't compare your journey to somebody else's journey.
That's right.
You can't compare your success to somebody else's success. It's gonna look different. My path is different than his path, his path, his path is different than y'all's. Everybody's is different. As long as we get there in the long run, that's what matters.
That's right.
But we can't compare our success to somebody else's. And it's hard for y'all, probably harder for y'all than us because of social media and everything that's out there right now. But you cannot compare your path to somebody else's. Work hard in yours. Humble yourself in yours. Understand what you did in high school may help you get recruited, but it would not help you get in the field. Humble yourself.
So this is the last question of this panel, and I'm gonna direct this towards the parents. All right. We see a lot of bad eating that goes on when we go to the here we have the MSC, we have the zone, which is where kind of straight table is, etc. And we see a lot of bad eating from a lot of just college students, just in general. But to be an athlete, how should that diet look?
Well, first, I mean, if you're able to afford it, I mean, I know when I was growing up, my mother couldn't afford the meals that I needed to, the nutrition that I needed to maintain as an athlete. But this day and time, man, there's ways that you can buy things that can help you with your diet. With parents, I say this to parents because my son was a student athlete, and you can't want something for them more than they want it for themselves. The one thing, parents, I'll say to you, and it's kind of, I guess, even a little bit off topic, but he said, parents, if he doesn't want it, he doesn't see it, and he's not putting in the work, it's not gonna work. And somebody said this earlier, it's okay to go to college and be just a good student, get a job, go get a career. With the way college athletics are now, with the rev share and they're paying players and those things now, it's more pressure on the coaches. The universities want to see a return on their investment now. So the coaches are more apt, like I said, talked about consistency. They're looking for kids that really want something out of this, man. And parents, if your kid is not putting in that work on his own, stop wasting your money. Stop wasting your time, because it's not going to happen for him. Because as Cecil said, as Dr. Williams said earlier, man, there are millions of kids out there that want scholarships. Millions. He talked about his email. Man, we get so many emails on a daily basis from all around the country, from all around the world. So with the nutrition piece, if you can afford it, it's very critical. It really is. I didn't think it was until later on in my playing career, when I did change my diet and I saw what it did. Man, it's very critical. But man, I say to you guys, man, again, and this is the last thing I'll say. I'm glad that you guys are here. Man, I wouldn't want to work for anybody else than Coach Jackson, man, because he's gonna tell you the truth. If anything he said today offended anybody, this is not the place for you. But the one thing we're gonna do, man, we're gonna hold if your son comes here, he's gonna return, as Coach Jackson said, he's gonna come here as an 18-year-old young man. He's gonna return as a real man and someone that's gonna be successful. We can guarantee you that.
Question again? About food,
Nutrition.
Parents?
Parents, I would say this, because Coach was right. Like, I didn't learn. I'm the same as you. I didn't learn about nutrition until I got older.
Yeah.
How important it was. If your child is serious about going to the next level, he will show you. So I'm gonna talk to the kids first. If you're serious about going to the next level, you'll show your parents. I'm a parent myself. Even if I don't got it, we gonna figure it out for you. Parents, am I right? We gonna figure it out. If you show that you want this, we gonna find a way to make it happen for you. But you gotta show that you want it.
That's right.
If you show it, your parents can help figure it out. There's ways to go about it. The biggest thing I say for people that's hard to afford, veggies, fruit, water, and no fast food. Get some chicken, get some bacon in there, and kind of go from there. But your son and you should be doing research. How do I gain weight? What benefits my muscles? Like, if you're serious about it, you want to separate yourself. Like, they just talked about how many emails they get a day. If you want to separate yourself, you would research it. How do I gain weight? How do I gain muscle? Hey, if I drink this electrolyte, what does that do for my body? Hey, is Gatorade really good for me all the time? How much water should I be drinking after I lose this amount of pounds? What's the best foods to eat after I work out? What's the best protein to drink after I work out? If you're serious about it, you'll put the work in. And your parents, after you show them that you're serious, they'll find a way.
Just to piggyback off of what he said, he mentioned some really good things to eat. What I would say, you got to put them hot flaming Cheetos down. That's not going to help you. I understand that may be your favorite snack, but that's not what your body needs. All right. So therefore, you got to be cautious of what you put in your body. All right. What you put in comes out. It comes out. It's going to come out in your muscles. It's going to come out in your conditioning. It's going to come out some type of way, shape, form, or fashion. All right. So be careful about what you put in your body. The high protein diet often works. So therefore, a lot of meat, chicken, fish, all that kind of stuff, like they said, if you can afford it, that works, okay? All right, parents, I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you gotta be brutally honest with yourself. You can't seek comfort because it's late, you on your way home, you wanna grab a quick Chick-fil-A meal, or you wanna grab some McDonald's real quick. All right, that doesn't always work. All right, that's a pacifier. All right, a pacifier is a temporary situation. That may have worked for you then, but it's gonna hurt your young man later. Also being brutally honest with your young man in recruiting. Like they said, parents, you can't want it for your young man. All right, if your young man ain't no good, tell your young man he not no good. If your young man can't catch a cold butt naked in the deep freezer, tell him he can't catch. But be honest with him, because when we're recruiting, we're gonna be brutally honest with you. And sometimes you just gotta tell your young man, I know you're your son's biggest fan. You're doing what parents do. That's what you're supposed to do. But it's a school out there for your young man. It just may not be here. Just because we don't recruit your young man doesn't mean your young man not a good player. He couldn't be a good player. He just may not be a good player for us. Everybody good on that? Got to put that out there. But be honest with your young man. And then understand when you're choosing a college, all right, you could choose a college and you may go there, but you may not play football. You may never touch the field. Understand what it is you want your end game to be. Do you want to go to a college and say you played, or do you want to go to a college and say you was on the team? See, because a lot of schools, some of these schools, they'll accept you. You could be on their team, you'll be a practice player, but you may not ever play a down. Do you just want to say you was on that team, or do you want to go to a place where you can say, I played? It's two totally different things. And then in 10 and 20 years from now, you got to sit up under a tree. And then you're going to be telling a little lie to your son, talking about you balled out, you played. Understand, we Google, the internet, and all this stuff out there, we can fact check you. You know good and well you ain't played one down. Or you only played fourth down because you was the long snapper. Understand? So therefore, when you choose wisely. If you want to play, go to a situation where you got a great opportunity to get in the game. If you just want to say you went to University of Texas just to be on the team, then just go to University of Texas. That don't mean you're going to play. So understand the difference between playing and on the team. The next thing I'll say is that when you're doing this recruiting, filter through the BS. Filter through it. because they're going to tell you what you want to hear. At the end of the day, the truth is going to rise. So make sure you're getting the truth. All right, here at PV, we're going to just tell you the truth. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you need it, whether you don't need it, regardless of how you feel, we're just going to be honest with you. And then that's one thing that you should be able to appreciate in a program, is that somebody going to hold your young man accountable, and they're just going to tell them the truth. Because oftentimes you see the portal full of numbers. A lot of that is some college coach done lied to your young man. And so therefore they got there, they're disgruntled, they don't want to be there no more, so they just get in the portal. So therefore, wherever you choose to go, make sure you're getting the truth. And then be truthful and honest with yourself with what you want your end game to look like. Player or watcher? Player or watcher? So make sure you choose a place where you can play and you can get on the field. And then with the transfer portal, if you're a baller and you at a D2 or D3, get in the portal. We'll find you. We'll find you. We got a recruiting department. All they do is just research and then recruit the portal. So therefore, understand your value. Your value is playing. Your value decreases when you're not playing. So just because you went to a place and they were giving you a few dollars, and then you go a whole year and you didn't play in a game, your value went down. So just understand how to create value for yourself.
Y'all give them a round of applause. I think we're gonna close on that.
I do want to open up the floor with some questions. Before I do that, it's funny that they mentioned the process of what it takes to get on the field. We were at Media Day last year in Birmingham, and we had the opportunity to sit in an NFL panel, and one of the scouts basically told the entire group that was there
It took to even get looked at in the NFL, for you to even have an opportunity for them to say, okay, I'm either going to invite you to camp, come to a pro day, etc. He said on average, the average player for a college athlete has to have a minimum of 175 snaps just to even be considered. We are in the portal and look in the portal and guys have 4, 5, 2, and proclaim they want a full ride scholarship, or they want NIL, or they want rail share. Make it make sense. I will tell you, I didn't play college football. I'm a baseball guy. And I sit and learn from these guys on a daily basis. But the one thing that I can see and evaluate is good talent and good behavior and good men and good people. So I highly recommend that a lot of this information that these gentlemen share with you today, it's actually real and it's effective and it works. Take it, own it, use it, and we thank you for coming for sure. Are there any questions? Any questions? Yes, sir.
What's up, guys? So that was awesome, really fantastic information, right? My biggest question is kind of around the last few minutes we just started. We're talking about transfer, right? Building a program, building, that team, that philosophy that you guys are trying to push, and make sure that your entire program is developing and growing the same way, right? So throughout this process, how do you guys see the future of college football, right? Because if we're all looking at transfer portal, we're all looking at, finding the best of the best, the 3-star to 5-stars, right? How do you do that whenever you're not really looking at a potential development program, right? Or do you guys actually invest in more of a development program around that, to where you're focusing on development as well as transfer portal? But my biggest question is, how do you build a program around that? Because honestly, I think it's getting harder and harder as you're developing these programs and you're focused on transfer portal. But you're also looking at, I think the last stat was about 11,000 some kids were in the transfer portal, and only 30% of those kids actually gone home, right? So eventually, do you think your pipeline is going to diminish if you don't figure out a way around that one, right? That's my biggest question about how do you develop a program, right? And then how do you foresee the future of college athletics? Because I love college football, guys. I'm a JUCO product, right? Lynn Junior College, gain a buck, there you go. And then also, class of 06 went to Syracuse University. So I don't have a clue how in the heck I got my scholarship. I'll be honest with you, if I had to do it the same way these kids are doing it today. So how do you kind of see all that taking place?
Well, number one, when you're talking about developing, all right, last year we brought in about 75 players. We brought in the bulk of our team in June. All right, so we brought in a lot of players in June. We're a parentally led program. All right, grown folks with whistles. Oh, I got my whistle. Grown folks with whistles gonna speak. Players with helmets gonna follow directions. So therefore, we're gonna develop them our way. Regardless of who you were, where you were, we want you to come here and be us, and we're gonna develop you our way. Just because you was developed another way at another location, we're gonna come teach you how we do it, and then you're gonna follow directions and do it our way. All right, because our way obviously showed you that it works. All right, we won the SWAC last year, and I know Coach talked about we moving on from that. But the team that we won the SWAC with, majority of those players came in June. So therefore, obviously, we had to develop them. We had to get to know them in a hurry. We had to force them to get to know each other so that they could play together. Going into game one versus the school down the street, we had players didn't even know each other on each side of the ball because they had only been here about 6 to 7 weeks. All right, so therefore, with that being said, now we bring our team in January, and then we develop them in January. So we got from January until December, because our ultimate goal here at PV, we're gonna play 14 games. So therefore, the development take place when we bring you in. We told you what it's gonna be like before we signed you. We told you what it was gonna take. We told you what you gotta do. So when you signed to come here, we're not deviating from what we told you. So you said this is what you wanted, this is what we gotta do. So that's the development plan. We do sign some high school players, we do. Coach told y'all that today. All right, so therefore we will sign high school players. But if we're only gonna sign anywhere between 8 to 10 high school players, you gotta be the butt naked true. My old school folks understand what butt naked mean. Butt naked true means you are a baller. You got it. You got all the bells and you got all the whistles and you're ready. You presented something on film that said you could play here at a high level. All right, so therefore understand, you're not in competition just against the people that goes to your school or the neighboring school. You're in competition against the whole country. All right, we signed a kicker from a whole nother country. So therefore, when we say worldwide, we're getting emails worldwide, we signing people from a whole nother country. So understand that you may be the best in your area, but are you the best in the state of Texas? Are you better than the people in Alabama or in Georgia or in Florida? Because we're recruiting the whole United States and across the country. So the development part is when you come in, be ready to work. We don't have time to tell you you got to come to the position meeting. We don't have time to run you down to make sure you go to class. That's not what we're doing. Everything is sped up. We're not talking about 2 or 3 years to develop you. When you walk in the door, development starts day one. Day one. All right, we got our signing class will be coming in May 23rd. And then they'll be here that Saturday, that Sunday. Okay, we got meetings. All right, they're coming in on Saturday, that Sunday, we got meetings. So development start immediately. So therefore, you're gonna be taught what to do, how we do it, when we do it, who we do it with, and how long we're gonna be doing it. Day one.
I think it's a little bit to your question as well. Football has changed, and I don't think it'll ever be the same. How they brought guys in, and guys may redshirt, and you may have a couple years to develop. I don't think it's any more. To me, I don't think it's any more of that. I don't think it's any more of taking time to develop guys 2 to 3 years, because you look at the FBS level, they got to continue to try to out-recruit the class that they brought in before to keep their jobs. They're paying them guys, those coaches, $8, $10, $12 million. They ain't got time to develop nobody. They got to bring players in that can play right now. So to your question, I think what you asked, I don't think it's any more of, years ago how a guy could come in and redshirt and, man, okay, he's benching 215 this year and we can wait by the spring, he's at 250. I don't think it's any more of that. It's more to what Coach Fed is talking about. You got to be ready to go. So what I say to parents in that aspect, man, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to know where you got to be honest with when my kid was in high school, I knew my son wasn't going to play in a Texas or A&M and those places. I took him to places to camp where I thought he can play and that I thought who would recruit him. That's, to me, there's no more development I see because universities are spending a lot of money. They want a return on their investment. So that's just where it is. And now, think about it. I was telling there's a coach here, Coach Arrow, I was telling him earlier. He saw one of our kids, offensive tackle. We got kids 24 years old. Kid was All-American last year. 24 years old, 18 years old. Who you gonna take? I know a lot of people say, well, man, all they're doing is taking kids out the portal. 22 years old, been in the program for 3 years, 18 years old. But I believe for high school kids, there is somewhere for you to play, man. You just got to be honest with yourself. But to that, just talk about the question. I just don't think there's any more just development 2-3 years. They're going to out-recruit you and bring some people in that can get it done right now. We live in, everything is fast food now. Everybody want it right now. You got to think of it.
Any other questions? You do? All right.
Who?
Just to piggyback off his question. So, in last June, you guys said you pretty much started out with a fresh team of 70-something athletes. How many of those kids are on the team today?
Well, a lot of those kids were freshmen. We just brought another 70 in. A lot of those kids were seniors. A lot of them were seniors. So we just brought 70? Dr. Williams, what did we bring in January?
73.
So it's a lot of turnover. Yeah, it's a lot of turnover yearly. That's just how to operate and to be competitive and to win on a high level. That's just where college athletics have gone.
Some of those guys were grad guys. We brought them in for 1 year. All right, they came in, did what they needed to do. All right, worked towards their graduate degree. So therefore, a lot of them was 1 year guys. Some of them were seniors. They was in their last year. I think it was 40 plus like that. And then don't think that we assign you just to get rid of you to put you in the portal. All right, we lost about it was less than 5 young men that just said, I want to go bet on myself. I want to get in the portal. So therefore, just because we talk about 11,000 players, 11,000 college players in the portal, some of those players was not on scholarship. Some of those players were walk-ons at those places. Some of those players never played a down in their life in college football. They just got in the portal. So you think everybody that got in the portal, yes, over 60% didn't find a home. A lot of those guys were walk-on guys. So therefore, don't think everybody that got in the portal was a scholarship player. That's not the case. So therefore, sometimes we don't get all the information. We just get the information that we see and we take off and we run with it. Well, when you do a little bit of the details, that kid was a walk-on anyway. That kid didn't have a home to begin with. And then also, I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with this. When we opted into this NCAA situation, we can only have 105 players on the team. 105. So every college team that opted in can only have 105. It's no more of 85 Division I scholarships and then 40 players on NIL or getting some type of money, scholarship, under the table, handshakes. You can only have 105. So if you remember back in the day when Georgia had 140 players, Ohio State had 160, it's no more of that. You can only have 105. So therefore, the 105 includes your scholarships and your NIL. So therefore, with that being said, if you could be 104, you in there. You in there. That means you're promised the opportunity to be part of the team within that 105. It's no more of we can have 106, 109, 110 football players. That's not the case anymore. So therefore, that receiving a scholarship and then waiting for a bigger offer, if you get a scholarship opportunity, you better jump on it. You're not the only one anybody recruiting. You better jump on it. So therefore, if somebody offering you and you're sitting around waiting and you're playing a waiting game, you're playing a dangerous game. Because we only can sign 105. And that 105 includes the NIL and the rev sharing. We may not give you any scholarship, but you may get some rev share to cover your academics. So therefore, just understand, you playing a waiting game, you're playing a dangerous game. Because once you get to 105, it's over with. It stops. Any more questions? How many of y'all knew about the 105? Few of you, yeah. So every college team can only have 105. If you could fit or you could find a place in that 105, or a college coach telling you we'll provide you a PWO and you can get your foot in the door to earn some money, don't wait. You're playing a dangerous game. You're going to find yourself without. And there's nothing wrong with going to college to be a professional student. You're going to be a professional at something. It may not be football, so we want you to be a professional student because you're going to have to go get a job unless your folks going to keep taking care of you.
Just a quick fact that the national average of transfer portal JUCO high school, 68% of FBS, FCS rosters, 68% of it is transfer portal guys. 22% or so is JUCO, and the rest is high school. That's just the world we live in now. So it's not a knock on high school, not saying that, not at all. Just the nuggets that these gentlemen gave on the panel today, exercise that and put yourself in a place to where you can be that guy coming out of high school and make a difference for a program. Is there any more questions? All right. Let's give them one last round of applause. Appreciate y'all.